It is July 2016. Hong Kong is warm and loud and lit up in every direction. Hundreds of students from around the world have gathered here for one of the most prestigious academic competitions on Earth, the International Mathematical Olympiad. The best young mathematical minds from dozens of countries, all in one place. For most of them, this is an adventure, a trip abroad, a chance to compete and see the world and go home with a story. For 6 of them, it is something else entirely. 6 young men step forward in white dress shirts and black pants, loyalty badges of the Kim family pinned directly over their hearts. They smile for the cameras. They stand straight. They represent the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and they represent it perfectly, except for you. While your teammates smile, you keep glancing to the side. Your eyes move in a way that has nothing to do with mathematics. You are not nervous about the competition. You have been solving problems at this level since you were 12 years old. What is making your hands sweat right now is the decision you have already made, the one you have not told a single person, the one that, if it goes wrong, does not just end your life, it ends your families. Tonight, you're going to disappear. Sounds like the opening of a spy film, right? It is not. It is your life. You were born in 1998 in a small town in North Korea, and from the very beginning you were luckier than most. Your family is relatively well off, in a country where your entire future is determined before you are born. By your family's background, their history, their relationship to the ruling party, that matters enormously. Families with ties to those who fought against Japan during World War II, or with connections to the regime's inner circles, receive privileges that ordinary North Koreans never see. Better food, better housing, access to education that does not begin and end with loyalty drills. Your family has those connections, which means you have a chance. Your father is a mathematics teacher. He sees something in you before anyone else does. Every single day before you're allowed to go outside and play, he sits you down and makes you practice multiplication tables. Every day, no exceptions, no negotiation. He understands what numbers can do for a mind like yours, if that mind is trained early enough and hard enough. And he is right. By the time you are 12 years old, you enter a national mathematics competition and beat students years older than you. Not by a small margin. Convincingly enough that the result travels up the chain, past your school, past your district, all the way to the top educational representatives of the North Korean regime. And that is when your luck changes shape. In North Korea, brilliance does not belong to you. It belongs to the state. The moment the regime notices what you can do, you are no longer a child with a gift. You are an asset with a function. You are transferred to Pyongyang #1 Senior Middle School, the elite school, the pipeline, the place where the country's most gifted young minds are gathered, trained, and prepared for purposes that have nothing to do with what those minds actually want. And because your training requires it, you're given something almost no one in North Korea ever receives. A laptop, loaded with mathematics programs, your own personal machine at an age when most North Korean children have never touched a computer. There is no internet. Power outages cut the electricity constantly. So you build a solar panel yourself to keep the laptop charged. In the winters, when the solar panel becomes useless, you run a gasoline-powered generator. You're not going to let the failing infrastructure of a closed country interrupt what you have decided to become. You train for years, long hours, complex problems. The country's top mathematicians sitting across from you, pushing you further than you thought you could go. The training is about more than mathematics. It is about duty, patriotism. The regime treats success at international competitions as a matter of national pride, and the pressure that flows from that is not friendly or encouraging. It is the pressure of a government that has invested in you and expects a return. They do not want silver, they want gold. Your first trip abroad is to Colombia. You are stepping outside North Korea for the first time in your life, and the world hits you like a physical force. Brightly lit cities that stay lit all night. More cars on a single street than you have ever seen in one place. Shop windows full of things that simply do not exist where you come from. Your team ranks 5th in the world that year, behind China, South Korea, the United States, and Russia. You personally win a silver medal. Standing on the stage with the medal around your neck, you smile the way you have been trained to smile. But behind your eyes, something is already moving. You think about the laptop, the years of training, the mathematicians who sat across from you since you were 12. Why does a regime that cannot feed large portions of its own population invest this heavily in one student's ability to solve equations? What does North Korea actually want from minds like yours? You already know the answer. You have known it for a while. North Korea's cyber division began in the 1970s. Students were sent to Russia, China, and East Germany to learn coding. The original purpose was practical, making factories more efficient. But in the 1980s and 1990s, Kim Jong-il looked at what those students had learned and saw something far more valuable. A weapon. A military hacking unit was built from the ground up. The Korea Computer Center was established in the early 1990s as the central hub for everything cyber. It started with software and hardware. It expanded quickly into warfare and theft. Kim Jong-un took it further still. International sanctions had strangled North Korea's ability to generate revenue through legitimate means. So the regime turned to crime. The Sony Pictures hack in 2014. The Bangladesh bank heist in 2016. Hundreds of millions stolen through attacks on banks and cryptocurrency exchanges. All traced back to North Korea's most notorious unit, the Lazarus Group. State-backed, lethal. Thousands of members, hand-picked by the regime through exactly the kind of nationwide testing that flagged you at 12 years old. This is the career being prepared for you. And then you come back from the 2015 IMO in Chiang Mai, and a friend pulls you aside. Quietly, carefully. Senior figures from a secretive government agency have been interviewing your close friends, your relatives, people who have nothing to do with mathematics and everything to do with you. You do not need anyone to explain what that means. You know immediately. The state is building a file. The recruitment is coming. And if you are instructed to join the cyber unit, you cannot refuse. That is not how North Korea works. Working in one of the most classified sections of the military means being cut off from society completely. No freedom, no choice of direction, no outside world. The mind they spent years sharpening, pointed permanently at targets you did not choose, serving a government that will own you until it no longer needs you. The dread that settles into your chest is not fear of the unknown. It is the specific, suffocating fear of seeing exactly what is coming and having no legitimate way to stop it. You run the numbers. You always run the numbers. The IMO has an age cutoff. You can only compete until you turn 18. The 2016 competition in Hong Kong is the last one you are eligible for. One more trip outside, one window, and it is closing faster than anything you have ever had to calculate. You make your decision before you even land in Hong Kong. You are going to defect, alone, without telling anyone, not even your father, because your father would try to stop you, and you cannot be stopped. The competition runs July 6th to 16th at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. You compete, you focus, you win silver for the 4th consecutive year. Your team minders are pleased. Your teammates are celebrating. Everyone is preparing for the flight home tomorrow morning. You smile and nod and keep the plan locked behind your eyes where no one can reach it. Then the evening arrives. Your teammates move through the dormitory corridor and into their rooms. The minders settle in. The building quiets. You sit on the edge of your bed for a moment in the dark and you think about your father. About the multiplication tables every morning before you were allowed to play. About everything he built in you that the regime was about to conscript. You stand up. You pick up almost nothing. And you walk out of the dormitory, no signal, no goodbye. Just a quiet step through a door and into the Hong Kong night. The air outside is warm and dense and smells like a city that does not know you exist. You have never been alone outside North Korea. There are no minders behind you, no handlers watching which direction you turn. For the first time in your life, the space around you belongs entirely to you. And it is terrifying and enormous all at once. You hail a taxi. The driver asks where you are going. You say the airport, Hong Kong International. You sit in the back and watch the city move past the windows, every light, every billboard, every person on a pavement living a life that has nothing to do with loyalty badges or surveillance. You think about your family. You think about what happens when the North Korean team wakes up tomorrow and finds your bed empty. You think about the CCTV footage that will be reviewed. Your teammates being gathered and returned to Pyongyang without you. The questions that will follow. The interviews. The consequences spreading outward from your absence like a crack moving through ice, reaching your father, your mother, everyone the regime can find a reason to hold responsible. You cannot unknow what you know about what this costs them. You made the calculation anyway. The taxi stops at the terminal. You step out into the bright chaos of an international airport. Hundreds of people moving in every direction, luggage and announcements in languages you cannot place. You need to find South Koreans. That is the plan as far as it goes. You scan the terminal. You look for airline counters. You find the desk of a South Korean airline and you approach the staff. You speak carefully. You explain that you need help, that you are North Korean, that you want to defect. The staff member looks at you for a moment that feels very long. Then she calls her manager. The manager comes. You explain again. He listens. Then he makes a phone call. The South Korean consulate general in Hong Kong. He writes something down and hands it to you. An address, Far East Finance Center. The consulate is on the 5th and 6th floors. Then he tells you something that stops everything cold. The consular staff cannot come to you. Diplomats are forbidden by international protocol from helping citizens of any country enter a foreign mission. You have to get there yourself. You are standing in the middle of Hong Kong International Airport, alone with no identification that will keep you safe. And the only people who can help you have just told you they cannot come. You fold the address. You walk back outside. You get into another taxi. The ride across the city is the longest of your life. You watch the streets moving past, and you think about every possible version of what happens next. What if someone from the North Korean delegation is already looking for you? What if the consulate turns you away? What if China sends you back before anyone can negotiate anything? You have run every scenario. You have calculated every outcome. But calculation and sitting in the back of a taxi at midnight in a foreign city with your life balanced on a folded piece of paper are two different things entirely. The Far East Finance Center appears through the windshield. You pay the driver, you get out, you walk into the building and you find the consulate. You knock on the door. A South Korean diplomat opens it. You look at him and you say 4 words that you have been building towards since you were sitting in a classroom in Pyongyang being told what your future would be. I want to defect. He lets you in. And then everything changes very quickly. Within hours, the building transforms around you. Security tightens in a way that tells you exactly how seriously they are taking the threat. Plainclothes police officers from the counterterrorism division take up positions at every entrance and exit of the building. The main door, the side door, the elevator lobby, the car park, each officer carrying a large bag, a hands-free device in their ear, watching every person who approaches. The consulate installs metal detectors, requires every visitor to state the reason for their visit before entering. The Hong Kong police force is outside every doorway. You're safe. and you're also completely trapped. They give you a room. Small, windowless. A storage room that has been converted into something they are calling accommodation. The walls are close. There is no view. There is a treadmill someone has placed inside because they understand, without you having to say it, that a mind like yours will deteriorate without movement. You are given a device with offline video games. No internet. Not yet. You're not ready for that, and neither are they. This is where you will live for the next 80 days. 80 days. 3 governments are now maneuvering around your existence simultaneously. South Korea is negotiating for your safe passage to Seoul. North Korea is not officially acknowledging anything, but you know what is happening on the other side of that silence. The regime does not tolerate defection without consequence. Collective punishment. 3 generations. Your father, your mother, anyone who shared a meal with you or sat beside you in a classroom. The guilt by association policy exists for one specific purpose: to make the cost of your freedom land on people who had no say in your decision. And China sits in the middle of all of it, calculating its own interests. If Beijing deports you, the images travel everywhere. A gifted 18-year-old mathematician sent back to the country he fled. If Beijing lets you go, it sends a quiet signal to Pyongyang about the current balance of power between 2 governments whose relationship has been strained by Kim Jong-un's missile tests. You are a human being. You're also a diplomatic variable. In the first month, you barely speak to the consulate staff. There is not much to say and too much to think about. You pace on the treadmill. You play games on the borrowed device. You think about your father every single day, the multiplication tables, the mornings before you were allowed to go outside, the man who built the foundation that eventually carried you out of the only world you had ever known, and who you left behind without warning because warning him would have meant he could stop you. You do not know what is happening to him. You cannot know, and the not knowing sits in the room with you every hour of every one of those 80 days. Then slowly, across the second month, something shifts. You begin to talk to the staff. Small things at first, then larger ones. In late September 2016, Beijing makes its decision, quietly, without official statement. China allows your departure. You're issued a South Korean passport, a Hong Kong tourist visa, a new name. You leave the consulate as a South Korean visitor, traveling through a third country by a route specifically designed to minimize any exposure to North Korean surveillance. On September 24, 2016, you land in Seoul. Ri Jong-yol no longer exists. You are Lee Jong-ho now. South Korea is another planet. You have to learn social norms that no one inside North Korea's education system ever mentioned existed. Slang. How to navigate a supermarket without standing in the aisle for 10 minutes trying to understand why there are 40 different types of the same product. The first time someone gives you access to the internet, a mentor sits beside you while you create a Gmail account. The first thing you search for is information about North Korea. You have spent 18 years inside a system that controlled every fact you were permitted to know about your own country. The search results load, and the truth arrives on the screen all at once. And you sit there and you read, and you do not stop reading for a very long time. Within a year of arriving, you pass the entrance exams for Seoul National University, the most prestigious university in South Korea. You enrolled to study mathematics, the subject they tried to weaponize, the gift they planned to conscript into a windowless room pointed at strangers. Yours now, finally, on your own terms. The regime's response to losing you is its own kind of confession. North Korea does not send a delegation to the International Mathematical Olympiad for the next 2 years. When they return to the competition in 2019, they bring government minders to monitor every student at all times. One 18-year-old walking out of a dormitory with nothing but a calculation and a taxi fare. forced one of the most controlled governments on Earth to permanently change how it supervises its own people abroad. Your parents are still in North Korea. What has happened to them since the night you walked out of that dormitory has not been confirmed publicly. You have not seen them since. That is not a wound that Seoul National University, or a new passport, or any number of correct answers on any examination paper can close. You carry it every day, inside a free country that has no real category for what it cost you to get here. In North Korea, your mind was a weapon they spent years sharpening for someone else's war. You did the only thing a mind that precise could do. You calculated the one move they never saw coming. Click the card now or miss your next life. As Suchitra Lop, the criminal who made El Chapo look small, where running a drug empire worth more than McDonald's, Starbucks, and HP combined was just the beginning.